Alright, let's go ahead and show you all how I make my infused olive oil for the dishes you guys have seen me do so far. Um, in this dish we're going to be doing a cup of olive oil that I'm going to be infusing. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take my two spoon and my little dab tool. I think that's what they call it, my little tool. I'm going to get this lid off this RSO. So then you can see how much RSO I have left. So I will be using all of this in my olive oil. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop this out. And what I don't get out and put in this pan now, I will simply add it to my butter. Or I can even pour a little olive oil in here and put it in a pan, warm this glass up. This glass isn't really meant to be cooked on, so it would have to go inside the water. And then oh, I forgot to show you guys the size of that gob. There it is. We're going to get some more out of here because I feel like that's not enough left behind for a whole cup. I'll have a better guess of exactly the amount that's in this once I put this little container back on my scale and figure out the weight difference. I already know the gram difference, so another little goober. There we go. So what I'm doing now. So that's what we got left in there. And we'll clean that up with a little melted butter, or actually I'll probably take a little bit of the olive oil, throw it in there and let it sit for a little bit. And once I'm done with this, I'll just go ahead and add it into the olive oil. So I have a little more, I do use it a little more heavier when I cook. So now that we've got that in there, we've shown you how much of the RSO we used. Pretty much everything we could get out of there. We're going to probably use some olive oil, put that in there, warm that up a little bit, and get that whole dish clean back to like brand new, and take that infused olive oil and add it to this later. But this is what we've got on the bottom of the pan. I showed you guys this before, down on the bottom. We're going to go ahead and add our olive oil now. Unlike the butter, we can do the olive oil now because we're not waiting for the melting process, which you probably already guessed. There we go. Get all that in there. Beautiful. Let's set that there. Now, this is my old empty olive oil bottle. I just emptied it doing this. So I will be reusing it. I recycle. I'll be putting the RSO in there. What I have found with olive oil and the RSO, they really go together as well, just like the butter does. But it does not stick to plastic once it's infused into the olive oil. So it's much easier to work with. As a matter of fact, I've been keeping my olive oil in small amounts in these little plastic containers. And I've cleaned them repeatedly, refilled them, and not once has it left any residue or any stickiness on it. So that's one thing I really do like about the olive oil and doing this process. All right, so let's go ahead and get over here. And again, within a few minutes, we're going to have us infused olive oil, and the cooking adventures can continue. All right, here we are over at the stove again. You've seen this with the butter. It's got the bigger pan on the bottom. It has water in it. I have this pan on top, my favorite pan of all time. I've had it for, well, over 30 years now. And it does great for doing exactly this. So it's been designated as this is what I do with it from now on. The water is still hot. The pan is still hot from doing the butter. I am doing this take in the same day so you guys can see them both done. So now we're just waiting for the olive oil to kind of get up a little bit of a warm temperature, just like we did the butter. I want to make sure that I don't simmer or boil it in any way. I just need to raise the temperature enough that the RSO goes from cold to starts to liquefy into that oily, sticky consistency. And once that happens, then you can start moving it around. It'll start dissolving itself into the olive oil and creating that beautiful green olive oil look from the sticky. Let's see what we got so far. Okay. Well, you can already see that the temperature has come up just a little bit, that we're able to start seeing strands happening. I don't know if you guys can see those strands. Let me move it forward. You see them? So those strands are what we're looking for. That tells us that we're getting to that warm temperature process, and they will start to dissolve. And just like the butter, there will be no residue left in the pan. I love infusing this way. It's simple, it's easy. If you don't make your own RSO, it's not a problem. You can literally buy RSO, this particular stuff, at any local dispo, and you can come home and infuse it into all the cooking that you would like. You would know the milligrams, and you can do the math on the cups or whatever portion that you're adding it to. It's not very difficult to kind of take what you already know as a home cook, if you understand what it is that this stuff is trying to do. And that is connect with the fat, the oil, the fat particles, and just absorb right into them. Oh, that's looking so pretty. And you can see, look, you can see we're getting less and less strands. We're getting more of a tint on the olive oil, which is exactly what we're looking for. We'll just keep mixing it up, getting it going. And there we go. We're starting to see a nice, beautiful change in the color and the amount of RSO you can see in the pan, which is good. Oh look, my spoon and my other thing are almost clean already. So look at what we're getting. See all that? It's looking great. It's just slowly dissolving. We'll let it sit for a minute. See if I can get these things cleaned up a little bit. So what I'm doing now is that once I let it sit, the RSO fell to the bottom and kind of got stuck in place. So now I'm just going around and kind of rubbing it off, which is what I wanted to happen. Because then once I hit it, it's already at that very close liquid state. So it just disappears into the olive oil. Just vanishes. And you get no more little black chunks in there. A couple right there. All right, and there we go. There is our RSO infused olive oil. So what we'll go ahead and do now is I'll go ahead and move it over. We'll get the funnel and we'll start getting it poured in. Lay this out since the bottom will be wet. So we'll take this out and we'll put it on my towel over here to dry the bottom off before we try to pour it in the funnel. We don't want any water getting in there. All right, so we got the funnel. We got olive oil bottle. We've got our pan dried off, ready to pour. So here we go. Now, unfortunately, like olive oil or any kind of other oils, you're going to lose a little bit because Unless you can figure out a way to hold it there until it drains completely, you're always just going to lose a little bit. There's just no way around it. I could stick a plastic baking spatula in there, but then I would ruin my wife's baking spatula, and she would be really mad at me. Or at least I would think it would ruin it. I'm not going to try. I get enough trouble for things I break in the kitchen as it is. Or burn, or messes. So that's my cooking, but I am a messy cook. All right. And the same process is going to go for cleaning this dish. I'm basically going to take and put it in this pan. I'm going to put some olive oil in this dish, and then I'm going to let it just kind of sit there and stay warm. And then I'm going to continue to stir the olive oil. This will probably take an hour or so to get it all to absorb into this little amount, but I only do maybe a quarter of this thing, all this resin RSO. And then I can just go ahead and place it right here in the bottle and add to my 1 cup of beautiful, already infused olive oil. All right. Well, you guys got to watch me make my infused olive oil. You got to see me make the infused butter. Peace out. Stay sticky, my friends.